Alright guys, what's going on? I'm Tim Kelly. This is The Real Sports Talk. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm on number 31 of my top 32 quarterbacks for 2013 list. I am saving you from ESPN and Ron Jaworski with this list. At number 32, I brought in Nick Foles of the Philadelphia Eagles. And while Foles is not expected by many to be the starter, I went on to talk about how I believe that Nick Foles should be the starter. I'm an Eagles fan, so I believe that Nick Foles should be the starter. And I'm ranking the 32 best quarterbacks in the NFL, not necessarily ranking the 32 best in terms of who's going to be a starting quarterback necessarily, and that comes into play again at 31 because I have Chad Henne coming in at 31. Now, Blaine Gabbert's going to be the starter for Jacksonville. There's really no question about that. Blaine Gabbert's going to be the starter, and while I think Blaine Gabbert has been extremely disappointing through the first two seasons of his career, it's kind of like, why wouldn't you give him another shot? He was a top 10 draft pick. He's been really disappointing. But Chad Henne is a 28-year-old backup quarterback at best who is starting because he's on a really bad team. Did he hold his own last year? Sure, but even if he continues to hold his own again this year, he's not a long-term solution in Jacksonville. So I don't have any issue with them going with Blaine Gabbert, but I think that Chad Henne, from what I've seen over the last couple of years from watching Chad Henne in Miami, I think he is one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL for me. So some of the things that Chad Henne did last year, he had 11 touchdowns and 11 picks in 10 games played. Gabbert also played 10 games, so there were a few games with injuries and benchings and whatever that they both played in. But for the most part, Gabbert was not playing the second half of the season, and Chad Henne was. He threw for over 2,000 yards last year, 2,084 yards, and had a 72.2 passer rating. Again, the numbers are slightly better than what Blaine Gabbert did, but it's really nothing to make you say, we have to start this guy over the guy that we picked in the top 10 of the draft just a few seasons ago. So I understand why they are going with Blaine Gabbert. Now, they have new uniforms, a new logo. The helmets are sick. And Gus Johnson, I like him a lot as a head coach. I actually wanted him to come to Philadelphia. He's a fiery, defensive-minded head coach. So I think whoever the quarterback is here, defensive-minded head coaches normally like to run offenses. Obviously, they're not the ones running the offense or making the play calls, but normally you'll see them bringing an offensive coordinator who is going to run the ball a lot more. And I think that with Maurice Jones-Drew back this year, that's going to take a lot of pressure off whoever is playing quarterback, whether it's Blaine Gabbert or Chad Henne, because having Maurice Jones-Drew, who only played 6 games, having him back for a full season this year, I think that should help the Jaguars. I think they are a team on the rise because I think they brought in a nice head coach. I think they still have Maurice Jones-Drew, although he's somewhat getting up there for a running back. But I like the head coach. That's a start. They cleaned out the front office, so we'll see where they go from there. But they got 6 new uniforms, and I do expect Justin Blackmon to have a big year this year. I liked him a ton coming out of college, out of Oklahoma State, I believe. Didn't have a bad rookie season, but didn't blow anyone away. I want to see what he can do with another year under his belt, another training camp under his belt, and some familiarity with whoever the quarterback is going to be, because he's played with both he's played with both Chad Henne and Blaine Gabbert, so he's seen both of them, and I think that his progression should help whoever is playing quarterback. But Chad Henne comes in at my list at number 31 of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL for 2013.